Limited material.
Yeah.
So what did this thing do to skin?
Well, you're
hard to
ready.
try, right? Ow! Yeah, that wasn't pleasant at all. I can't imagine how awful it was to try to lean over
that wasn't
something like this. Best case scenario,
Someday I hope they do the death
worst case
lightsaber.
scenario, well,
Star Wars and
I
action.
believe they have.
believe it or not,
If you like it, I'm sure.
I don't know.
They have. It's just not what you
With
think.
the same lethalness,
It's not like
where you can
Exactly.
stick it in the steel door and cut a hole in it.
I think it can.
I don't know.
Right here.
You guys may remember the video I made on this World
Yeah,
War
they did,
realistic lightsaber about a year ago. It went insanely viral with 20 million views. Well, as you know, this lightsaber is made by Imperial Workshop. And as is with all technology, it gets better. Dude, I am so excited for this.
I don't know if
Oh,
this
that is crispy. You are seeing this probably the cleanest it'll ever be. Alright, we have to put the blade on.
is it. Yeah, this isn't it.
Alright, now that it's all put together, I think we have to...
Right here.
Yeah, here it is.
That song was out when I was in high
Hey guys, I'm the Hacksmith, and on the last episode of Make It Real, we made the world's first retractable plasma-based lightsaber. That looks like a lightsaber, and at temperatures of over 4,000 Fahrenheit, it's almost as hot as one too. But the real question is, does it work like a lightsaber? Now obviously, a lightsaber needs to be good at stabbing someone.
See? It needs some refinement.
Oh yeah, but think about that. Imagine getting stabbed with that.
Too
Now
slow.
besides ruthless
Yeah,
murder
it takes over
stormtroopers, a
one.
lightsaber can also be able to come through walls.
It's gotta make the sound too. Boom, boom.
That wall.
Start from the wall. Yeah. I could do that with a torch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's all you got right there. Finding sense and torch.
Yeah. It's gonna be close to what they got.
This is the close to it. Well, no, they've got closer, but it's not retractable.
Well, yeah.
It's a metal
I
rod.
thought
It's a
they were
real
red,
ball.
but
It
what about metal
glows
side?
red.
As a child, when Star Wars came out, it's all one. It was a lightsaber. That means
Oh,
about
here you go, Jeff. You go cut the hole.
Not bad.
It is. I'm not fit for that.
And it's gonna take that metal a little while to cool in.
How about a steel door? Any touch with that?
Touch it, please.
Alright, now you may have noticed we actually do have a big tank of oxygen and propane that Bogdan's currently hooked up to. The only reason we're doing that is because these tests take a while. The backpack does work by itself, but these small tanks only last for about 5 minutes. So when we're filming a big test video like this, it's important to have a lot of extra gas, which is why we're going with the corded route at the moment. A lightsaber's got to be able to cut through a blaster. Well, let's see if we can do that.
Not bad.
We know lightsabers can cut off limbs. What would our lightsaber do with flash? Let's find out.
Circuit.
The way it's that's raw. It's so raw.
Time for the ultimate test. Lightsaber versus lightsaber.
Oh no!
What's that?
My lights?
The light's still on.
The
What?
light's still on! The lights are...
We're actually going to be giving away this Mace Windu lightsaber cut with the world's first real-life plasma lightsaber, along with a whole bunch of hacks and swag, thanks to our sponsor, Honey. I don't know about you guys, but these days I do literally all my shopping online, which is why I use Honey, the free browser extension that scours the internet.
He's gonna be the dude to make the lightsaber.
I recently picked up this $4 bug zapper from Walmart, and it claims it outputs 2,750 volts. And that may seem like a lot, I feel like I can do a lot better. Now before I start tearing this thing down, I gotta at least try the original product. So I stuffed in my 2 AA batteries, and I see it has a nice fancy little indicator right there. So let's start jamming the screwdriver in. Not that impressive. I'm not even sure if it can kill a bug. Let's see if this thing even works on bugs. Yeah, like that thing's practically still alive. Yeah, I don't think it did anything to that. It definitely needs to be modified so it's much stronger. I tore apart this bug zapper to see what I was dealing with on the inside. And taking a look at that circuit, this is essentially the same thing that you find inside of a camera for its flash circuit. The only big difference is that this capacitor gets charged up to about 10 times higher than what you find in a camera. And then of course there's no trigger circuit to fire a flash lamp. But essentially it takes 3 volts DC and steps it up to nearly 3,000 volts to charge that capacitor. But then the circuit is normally open. In fact, the voltage gets applied to that inner plate there, then the 2 outer plates are kept at about 0 volts. And then once a bug goes inside that grid, it connects to the circuit, and then that energy from the capacitor gets dumped to the bug, and it allegedly explodes. Now one way that I can modify this thing is to remove that little dinky capacitor in there and replace it with some giant capacitors. Now the only issue is it would take forever to charge it up, and if you touched it, it would kill you instantly. But in fact, I have a better idea. I'm going to use this ignition coil from the car to trigger those high voltages that I need. And not only because it's easy and cheap to use one of these, but also because it's a good display of electromagnetism. So when we look at the Maxwell Faraday equation, it says that a changing magnetic field induces an electric field. And now, the Savart law says that the magnetic field is proportional to the current going through some wire configuration. So essentially that means that in order to generate really high voltages, I need to be able to change the current really, really quickly. And now here's a very crappy model of what the inside of this thing looks like. So you got 2 coils, an outer one with less turns, and the inner one with more turns. So I start by feeding current through this outer wire here, then all of a sudden I bring apart a switch. So I make it so the current has to stop suddenly there. And that means the magnetic field that was produced by this coil also collapses suddenly. And the inside coil does not like that at all. And in order to negate that, the ends of those wires there will rise to very, very high voltages. So essentially the limiting factor on how much voltage I can get out of this is basically on how quickly I can switch on and off the current going through the coil.
In other words, he's going to
Now, luckily in the 21st century, the components that can switch things on and off at very high speeds exist for like pennies. So the main components I'm going to use in my circuit to drive this coil will be this IRFP 460 MOSFET. This essentially acts as a switch. And then this very classic 555 timer, which will tell the MOSFET when to turn off and turn on. So yeah, and then of course I've got to add some signal components and protective components, but it's a relatively simple circuit to build. There are tons of schematics online. Well, that escalated quickly. But it turns out that if I would have just used this bare MOSFET 555 combo, this thing would have fried within seconds. There's no way that it could have handled that vacuum that would come off that coil. So I had to put a bunch of protective components on the circuit, like this varistor, this little snubber circuits, neon bulb, a bunch of diodes in there, some Zeners, some just regular ultra-fast recovery rectifiers. But yeah, I needed a lot of components on here to keep it from frying. But now it should be a pretty solid driver. I went ahead and threw on a second coil so I could double the output voltage. So I wired the primary coils in parallel to the secondaries in series. So this should give quite a bit of voltage. So let's fire this thing up. And here we go. That is a nasty arc. I would not want to touch that.
Heck yeah.
Now before I toss this whole circuit inside that buzz zapper,
He's like,
look
okay.
at So right now I'm going to throw this old Russian Xenon flashlight in between the electrodes. Here we go. Alright, that's pretty cool. Here's a blank.
If you're a scientist, you can't use the term way cool.
Oh, he does. And he's a genius.
No.
He turned
Oh, right, that's nice.
into a laser.
Well, maybe one more.
Yeah, I saw that. I did that on Spy.
Oh, yeah?
Now it's time to finally start assembling
Did you make a Tesla
Now,
coil out of microwave?
Yeah, I ran the whole day.
So yeah, these wires may be able to handle 3,000 volts just fine. But man, once it gets over 50,000 volts, it'll just break down the insulation. So I'll throw in some spark plug wire. Even with those spark plug wires, this setup isn't quite going to cut it. Most of it's just arcing there between the ends of those wires there. So I definitely have to separate it more. I added some spacers there to accommodate the much higher voltage. And really, I do need a better grid for this thing, but if I replace this, then there won't be a single stock part left on this build, so I decided to leave this part as is. And then I went ahead and added a second MOSFET because there was a lot of power going through that first one and it was heating up. So I have the power distributed a bit there. And then I couldn't forget that indicator light that was on the last one, so I decided to add this one here. Now I can tell when it's on. How's it look, 2010? Now this is something we're bringing to the family picnic.
For sure.
Is it safe? No. Is it effective? I'm not even sure yet, but it is very, very cool.
You can buy one of those.
I would not want to accidentally
That
bump
actually
into
works.
this.
Maybe not as powerful as that,
That's a taser.
but we had one
I've
here.
looked at a lot of dangerous things, like high voltage chemicals.
I got my brother
Really
and
aren't that many
buddy
things that
that
freak me out. But I do have a couple phobias, and one of those are bees and wasps. I can't think of a better tool for removing wasp nests.
He just
I
like
kind of like that.
he just lights it on fire.
The bumblebees, now I hate them, but I'm not going to kill them because they're important. Now yellow jackets, on the other hand, they could all die and I wouldn't care. They're not native to the area.
They could all die and I wouldn't care.
That is kind of cool.
I ended up having to change out that
Hey.
grid
Make a vacuum.
because I found out it was really hard to
They
coerce
get
those
sucked
hornets
up and then they go up to two, they get
I'm
zapped.
really angry. Let's see if it works on those ground hornets.
It just shriveled his eye.
Is it effective against stink bugs? One way to find out. Now what about this walking stick? Just kidding, this thing's too cute for the zapper.
He got stunned. He got stunned.
Well, that's about it for this video.
Well, that's it for this video.
And he never cusses in any of his videos. It's just.
Or he'll replace it, he'll be like, heck.
Yeah.
If you've watched any of my videos over the past couple of years, you probably noticed this.